Hello techies, welcome to IT Tech Solution. So today in this video we're gonna see parallel processing in step function. So as you can see on my screen right now, I have a template where there are two branches in it. So many times while processing some data pipeline, right, we need to do a parallel processing, maybe based on some condition, or we need for example, we need to query some databases parallelly and then compare the results or do something. So there are scenarios where we would want to do a parallel processing of two different streams, right? So there we can make use of this parallel processing state. So using parallel state, then we can create two different branches. We can do parallel processing and then we can complete the step function, and in this way we can make it more efficient. Otherwise, if we want to make it in a sequence, it would take time, right? Once the first processing is done, then only the second processing will start. But in these scenarios where these two are independent, we can run them in parallel. So that is very useful. Let's just jump over to the AWS console and try to create a step function here. If in again, if I show the diagram again, you will see here that I am using two wait states as well. Okay, so these wait states I have just added. It will give us an idea about wait state also. Again, wait state is another type of state in the step function. So wait state we are using, it will do nothing, just wait for the specified number of seconds and then it will do a processing. So many times we need to add wait states in between so that we give some time for some backend processing to happen. So I'll just touch this as well, wait state, and then as I have used some lambda function in my before some previous videos, same kind of lambda function I'll be just using to demonstrate how these two parallel processings will be done in parallel. So we'll just go to and we'll create the step function from empty template. I will drag first of all. Initially, we can have some task or something. So I'll just add one pass state just to represent that this is one state before the parallel process starts, right? So I'll just add a parallel state, pass state, and from here on, I need to have parallel processing. So this is the parallel state, right? So I'll just pull that down here. Okay. Once this is there, you can see that with the dotted lines, it already is showing that we can add now different streams. So you can add as many number of tasks you want, you can add it here. Okay, in your first branch as well as in your second branch, you can keep on adding multiple tasks here, maybe connecting to DynamoDB, doing some query, connecting to SQL Server, RDS, anything, or maybe some more lambda functions to process your data. So likewise, it can have multiple blocks here, and at the end, it will all merge together and combine and complete the step function. So I'll, for demo purpose, I'll just take two branches and with one lambda function each. Okay, let's start configuring it. So pass state, I don't need to add anything. Okay, so this is parallel name is pass input. I don't want to give any input, let it be, and output whatever is coming, it will give as output. So before invoking this lambda, I would also want to add a wait state here, just to wait and see that it started in parallel. I'll just add some wait steps here. Okay, so wait states, I'll add two wait states here, wait 1 and wait 2. Okay, and here in lambda invoke, I'll just maybe rename it and I'll say parallel processing 1. Okay, so parallel processing 1 is the first stream I would name, and the second one I would name as parallel processing 2. Okay, so this is parallel processing 2. Name should be unique, otherwise it won't take. So parallel processing 2. So these two are done. Wait state and wait state 1 is done. Now in parallel processing 1 and 2, I would like to call the lambda function. I'll just show lambda 1 and lambda 2. So two lambda functions we can call. So these are the lambda functions that I have been using in all my previous videos. It is pretty simple. It just will return a message which is enough for now to understand what is happening, or which branch is executing, it will just return parallel job 1. That's the message, the first lambda. Similarly, if we just see the second lambda, it will just say parallel processing 2. That is the second lambda. So parallel processing, parallel job 2. Okay, so these two will be getting, it will be coming as output from these two steps. So let's configure it. So name I have changed. Let's give the function name. I want lambda 1 in first one, and then I'll give lambda 2 in. I don't want any payload, anything to be passed to this. It will just return us the value from the lambda itself. So similarly in parallel processing 2, I'll just add the lambda 2 here, which will give me the second lambda. Now in wait state, let's configure this wait state as well. So it is by default 5 seconds. Let me just maybe increase to 15 seconds so that we can easily watch the two states or the two branches running in parallel. So let me give both of them as 16. So wait for a fixed interval or wait until specified date and time. So this is the simple wait state. Either of one we can give. And the next state is already it has taken based on this diagram a lambda processing 2. Okay, input output, I'm not passing any input here. So for input and output, I have already created a video where we were using a result path or the output path. Using that, we can pass on the values from one state to another state. You can watch that video, you will get a good understanding of the step function variables. But in this demo, I'll not use anything because I'm not going to use any input here. So this is pretty much, I think, is done. Let's create it. Let it create the roles whatever it needs, it will create that role automatically. Okay, so now if you see the definition, we have a parallel state here, and parallel state will have its branches. If you see, this is the branches, or let me just show you in the editor, it will be easy to understand. I'll go to code, so the respective code I can click here and I can show that. So if I click on this, you will see parallel state. It starts here, and a parallel first step is wait step, right? So it is the wait state here, and parallel processing, it is the branches. So branches, I have two branches. Okay, one starting at wait, another branch. If you scroll down to this bracket, you will see it is wait two. This is the second branch. So two branches I have here. Okay, one branch is this one, starting with a wait state 1, wait state, and another with wait 1. So these are the two branches. Then lambda, simple lambda, I am not passing any payload. I don't want to pass anything, so whatever is input it will go as a payload, but I am not processing that. Default error descriptions are coming here. I am not using any user defined error handlings here. We'll see that in probably in some next video. But yeah, so this is the definition at the code level, you can see here. Now we'll just try to execute it, and you will see, since I have added the wait state, it will wait there for 15 seconds before executing the lambda. So now the step function has started. You can see both the branches are running now in parallel. It is not like first this is running and then this. Both are have already started in parallel. As soon as 15 seconds are over, you will see that both these lambda will complete. Now you can see the lambda has processed successfully. And if we just check the output of this first one, so this is the output that I was returning from first lambda. So lambda passed as parallel job 1. Input is just like default whatever was there. I am not changing anything. Similarly for lambda 2, output you will see is a parallel job 2. So this way we triggered two different lambdas parallelly. So this is the whole purpose of this parallel step. It may, in the real world, it may get even some little more complex based on your use case, right? We can have multiple parallel steps. Maybe this also can have another set of parallel steps. So if I just try to edit this state machine, and if you want to create some more, more complex workflows, you can add a parallel state again here, and this can again have your multiple step functions. Okay, maybe like for example, again you have some lambda function, so you can add those here as well. So this way you can get really creative and you can create your own complex workflow and do parallel or based on condition or maybe simple task, lambda or connecting to databases. All those things we can do in this. I hope it was useful for you. I will see you in another video. Until then, bye bye.